Welcome to this episode where we explore Lala Lajpat Rai's visionary perspective on technical education in India. Lajpat Rai believed that education should go beyond just academics to include practical skills, technical training, and industrial education provided by the state. He saw technical education as essential for building a self reliant nation, empowering the youth with the intelligence and efficiency needed for leadership and economic progress. His advocacy led to the establishment of nationalist institutions such as the National College in Lahore, promoting technical and vocational training critical for India's social and economic revival. Join us on this episode of EduExcel, how Lala Lajpat Rai's educational vision continues to inspire and shape the country's educational landscape. Technical education. For Lajpat Rai, technical education was of pivotal importance to the development of a nation. While civilized countries like Europe and America, he found, were devising national systems of technical education in order to fit their citizens to compete with other civilized countries in the arts and industries. India, with its growing poverty and starving population and its impoverished exchequer under an alien government, was languishing. No care was being taken of industries in the country. The students were not taught to live independently of government employment, and still it was made out that the people of India did not like learning for learning's sake and hankered after government employment. He asked how could a nation with an average annual income of rupees 22 per head pursue learning for learning's sake? How could they fill their stomachs if the education of the country meant only to fit themselves for government clerkships or law professorships, neither of which could improve the material prosperity of the country itself. Therefore, he considered industrial development as most essential for the material progress of the country. He was of the considered opinion that the government should provide technical instruction in schools and colleges in order to enable them to earn their livelihood independently of government employment and thus become useful citizens. Technical education in Japan. Lajpat Rai was impressed that in Japan a great deal of attention was paid to technical education, which meant chiefly education in technology, engineering, commerce, and agriculture. Technical schools of several grades came up, one having a course in commerce in the law college as well as course in various branches of engineering and agriculture in respective colleges of the Imperial University of Tokyo. This was in addition to courses in engineering in the Science and Engineering College of the University of Kyoto. Below this, there were technical special colleges into which students were admitted directly on graduation from middle schools. Such were the technological colleges of Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto, and Kumamoto, the agricultural colleges of Morioka and Kyushu, the commercial colleges of Tokyo, Kobe, Nagasaki, Otaru, etc. All of these were central government institutions having a course of 3 to 4 years, and there were likewise a few colleges maintained by local communities and by private endowment. Technical schools classes A and B. Besides these, which belonged to the higher education grade, there were technical schools of secondary grade with a course of 3 to 4 years to which pupils were admitted from higher elementary schools or from the second year of middle and girls' high schools. These institutions were called technical schools of class A. Below these again there were technical schools of the class B to which children were admitted on completion of the ordinary elementary school course. Besides these, there were also technical supplementary schools, continuation schools, night schools, etc., for those who could not attend regular schools. Before the war with China in 1894-95, there were but a few special technical schools in Japan, but since then he noted there had been a great demand for the services of intelligent young men possessed of higher technical education owing to sudden increase of all kinds of undertakings. The government had accordingly paid great attention to the question of an increase in the number of schools of this kind, and in the 36th year of Meiji 1903 issued a special school ordinance placing all schools of this kind under the control of the regulations contained in this ordinance. Since the war with Russia in 1904-5, there had been such development in industrial world that the demand for the service of intelligent young men had become even still more pressing, and the number of special technical schools came to be increased accordingly. Object and courses of study. The object of the higher technical schools was to give those intending to engage in agriculture, technical, and commercial pursuits a more advanced knowledge of arts and science. The subjects taught in these schools were as follows. In the special agricultural schools, agriculture, forestry, and veterinary medicine. In the special technical schools, mechanics, dyeing, weaving, ceramics, applied chemistry, electricity, marine engineering, naval architecture, architecture, civil engineering, mining and metallurgy, designing and brewing. In the special commercial schools, practice in all matters connected with commercial undertakings. Besides, there were technical schools of secondary grade which aimed at giving education to those intending to engage in business. The different kinds of this class of schools were technical schools, agricultural schools, schools of sericulture, schools of forestry, schools of veterinary medicine, marine product schools, commercial schools, and nautical schools. The subjects taught in the regular schools were morals, Japanese, mathematics, physics, chemistry, drawing, and gymnastics. In addition to the subjects belonging to the respective technical courses of study and practice, besides these, other subjects might be added according to the circumstances of the locality. The subjects taught in the preparatory course were morals, Japanese arithmetic, geography, history, science, drawing, and gymnastics. English may be added. Technical schools of the secondary grade, like the special technical schools, had attached to them workshops or schools, farms, and forests adapted to the standard of the school, where the students received practical lessons. Implements, machines, and other requisites were provided, practice and theory being thus busily taught at the same time. Technical education of a special kind, primary grade. The title Technical Education of a Special Kind was not officially recognized, but it indicated a technical school of primary grade. The qualifications for admission and the standard of the courses of study were very different in different schools, and these schools were accordingly grouped for purposes of this description under the head of Technical Education of a Special Kind. Apprentices schools being also brought for the sake of convenience under this head. Object and courses of study. The object of the apprentices school was to instruct those intending to become workmen in arts and sciences so as to fit them for the adequate performance of their work, while the object of the technical school of a special kind was to impart to those intending to engage in business the knowledge of arts and sciences needed for their various callings. The subjects taught in the apprentices schools were morals, drawing, mathematics, general science, Japanese, and gymnastics, in addition to those subjects which were directly connected with their occupations and practical work, but other subjects required by local circumstances might be added, while on the other hand, any subject save morals and those bearing directly on occupations might be dropped or made optional. These schools of a special kind classified according to the subjects bearing directly on occupations were as follows. The subjects of study in the technical school of primary grade were morals, Japanese, mathematics, general science, and gymnastics, in addition to those subjects which had a direct relation to occupations and practical work. Other subjects made desirable by local circumstances might be added, and on the other hand, any subjects except morals and those having a direct relation to occupations might be dropped. Supplementary education, object and length of course. The object of supplementary technical schools was to furnish persons engaged or about to be engaged in various branches of business with the knowledge and skill essential to their respective occupations, and at the same time to give supplementary lessons in general education. In other words, the technical subjects were the soul and center of instruction, while supplementary lessons in general education were given at the same time. To accomplish these two aims at one and the same time was the chief object of the supplementary technical schools, and they differed in this point from other schools in which either a general education or a technical one was given. Lala Lajpat Rai emphasized that technical education is essential for the economic and industrial efficiency of the nation. He argued that adequate education, including technical and industrial training, is both the right and duty of the state to empower the masses and build an efficient citizenry. According to Rai, education should go beyond book knowledge to include physical development and practical skills that enable youth to contribute meaningfully to national progress and self reliance. The NEP 2020 aligns with Rai's vision by making technical and vocational education an integral part of the curriculum across all levels of schooling. It promotes experiential learning, skill development, and flexibility to prepare students for a dynamic workforce. The policy stresses the importance of practical knowledge, local contextual skills, and opportunities for internships and apprenticeships, reflecting Rai's belief in the education serving social and economic needs by producing capable, responsible citizens. In closing, both Lala Lajpat Rai and NEP 2020 highlight technical education as a cornerstone for national development, empowering individuals with skills to innovate, contribute to industry, and uphold the spirit of self reliance and patriotism. That's all for today's episode. Thank you for joining us in exploring the vital role of technical and vocational education in nation building. If you found value in today's discussion, please subscribe, share, and leave a review. It really helps us grow. Stay inspired, keep learning, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Until then, take care and keep building a bright future.